Very much. Firstly, very much thanks to Omar for putting on an incredible event, and wow, what an amazing bunch of speakers that have already been speaking tonight. And also meditation Bryony really helped kind of, settle some of the anxiety and nerves for doing this talk this evening. So let's see if we're doing what you want that. So a little bit of background about myself. I've been very lucky over the years to work with a lot of different companies, starting pretty much right at the beginning, early days of the internet in 1999 for a company called AOL. And over the course of the years, I've been, worked with lots of different tech and kind of innovative companies doing things around video and content. So I want to take you back to a couple of years ago to 2017, and a charity or kind of a movement called Heads Together. And so I just want to kind of just quickly get a show of hands to if anybody actually kind of remembers or knows what Heads Together is. So a couple of people, a few, which is good. So Heads Together was launched in 2017, which is a collection of amazing mental health charities. So again, hopefully there's some people and charities that you recognise here, some that have been mentioned tonight. And really what Heads Together was really about changing the conversation around mental health in the UK, specifically around the stigma for all of us to actually have that conversation around mental health. And really, these charities here are doing incredible things around mental health. And Heads Together was set up to bring awareness that we all have mental health, sometimes really good, sometimes maybe like a 7, 8 out of 10, and sometimes it can be quite bad, and it can be things that happen within your life that, where you're experiencing bad mental health. So I decided to run the London Marathon for a charity called Best Beginnings, and Heads Together was the main official charity partner for the London Marathon. Best Beginnings is an incredible organisation. They really appeal to me as a charity. They're all about giving children the best start in life. And really what that means is empowering kind of parents, first-time parents predominantly, with a baby buddy app that supports you while you're pregnant and gives you information and education. And they also have great informative videos that talk about dealing with looking after bring new people into the world. And so, running the London Marathon and raising money for Best Beginnings is what I did in 2017. As part of Heads Together, the thing that I was asked to do was whether if I would actually share my story and my reason for running the London Marathon. I was in kind of a mood of just saying yes to things and agreed to do this talk and share my story for the first time. What I wasn't told, that it would be with these people. I was asked to do the talk probably about 2 weeks before this picture was taken. And even the size of this room would have been very daunting. And what I was told initially, that I was going to be sharing my story with some like-minded people, and I really thought it would just be like a circle of maybe 10 people. And as we got closer to the time of the event, I realised that there's just the way that they were talking about it kind of set an alarm bells were like ringing that there may be some important people in attendance. And when I actually posted this picture on Facebook, most people thought this was photoshopped. And the person next to me is my mate Steve. Now I'll come back and touch on why Steve is there as well against these other 3 people. And there was some certain kind of rearranging of said headband as well. And then it got even more surreal, and kind of as we were building up to running the London Marathon, I was then again we were told that we were going to have a training session to kind of look at how we can fundraise and actually get prepared, get some inspirational speakers to talk around running and how to actually prepare for the marathon. This happened at the Olympic Park in Stratford, and I got a tap on the shoulder that then asked if I could actually take part in a relay race. And this relay race involved myself, Duchess of Cambridge, Adele Roberts, the Radio 1 DJ, and Paula Radcliffe. And we didn't win. How could that be possible, that I could be in a relay team with Paula Radcliffe? And all I'm saying, there may have been somebody that was a little bit quicker off the mark than should have been when we were told to go. But it was, we had to run the London Marathon, and I was running the London Marathon with my mate Jon. And also, if you're going to run the marathon with a friend, it's really helpful also if they've got the same name as you, because we got double, you can just claim any job that gets shouted at you as encouragement as you went along the way. And so, Jon and I, in 2017, we completed the London Marathon. It's a really, really long way, and it really is not just a physical challenge of doing those 26.2 miles, but as I'll go on to talk about it a little bit later, it is a mental challenge as well. So, why was I involved in Heads Together? Why was I raising money for Best Beginnings? I guess going back to the 90s is where it really needs to kind of start talking. So, this is me, and this is my lovely dad, Peter. And I think this could have been on holiday in France. And I had an amazing dad. Had a really, quite a good childhood, really. We went on really nice holidays to Wales and started to go, I think this one was when we were in France. And over the years, my dad's had his own business. And I was really lucky to have a very, I've got two older brothers and a very, very, quite happy childhood. But the problem was when my dad was actually changing his job, he had his own business, and when that ended up closing, he actually really struggled with that transition between leaving his job and then also, or his business, and then actually setting up and trying to get a new job. And what I didn't know at the time was he probably wasn't that happy in that job. And also, when we actually moved house, the accumulation of probably stress at work, and also that the challenges that we had in kind of moving house was all too much for him. And this very outgoing guy who was involved in lots of different local activities, he was governor of a school, got very, very, very depressed. And ended up in this hospital in Hertfordshire. He came out and was kind of in and out, and very sadly over a number of times attempted to take his life. And very sadly, he did end up killing himself. We didn't talk about it as a family. As I said, I've got two older brothers as well, and losing my dad, we didn't get any support. We didn't get any counselling. There was nobody that came to actually talk to us. I really wanted to be there for my mum and really support her. And as brothers, it got us really close together. We were trying to give that support, but we didn't deal with it. We didn't talk about it. My dad's depression, and we just tried to just carry on. I ended up getting, in that period where my dad was ill, at college, actually good enough grades to go to university. And the escape of going to Bournemouth and the beach, and the sunshine, was amazing. It allowed me to kind of forget what had happened at home and draw a line under it, make some new friends, and move on. So I recommend Bournemouth. I was able to get my first job, so as I kind of mentioned, I've been very lucky in the companies that I've worked for over the years. And this is what the internet used to look like in 1999. It was dial-up, it was very, very slow, and I got a job working for AOL. it was super exciting, even though compared to the speeds we expect now with our broadband to be 10, 50, 100 meg, this was very, very slow. But it was really exciting times. And for me, in my first job out of university, I was working all the hours and also, going out quite a lot. There was lots of parties for people that joined the company, parties that people left. New startups, lastminute.com had an amazing party that went on till about 6 a.m. It was an amazing, exciting time. But one morning, I just woke up completely scared and panicked, and I didn't know what was going on. I felt paranoid. I was in my home. My girlfriend at the time had actually already left to go to work. And I was looking out the window, and I thought there was people that were watching me. I remember trying to phone my brother, and just think, goodness knows why I set down the phone to him, but he knew that I was not right, and very luckily he was able to get me to come and pick me up. I ended up back sectioned under the Mental Health Act, and in the same hospital that I visited my dad a few years later. And I think what was talked about earlier, about those people that have been affected by suicide, then also find themselves in a situation where they're potentially, a suicide risk as well. I kind of skipped over that slide a little bit too quickly. I'll probably just go a little bit back there. For me, that period when I was sectioned in hospital, even now I still don't really know what happened. I know that I was given lots of different medication. Just very, very scared and very, very nervous. And when I left hospital, I went back to my mum's. And again, I didn't get that help. I didn't really get the talking therapies. I was given lots of tablets, and I sat at home at my mum's, getting more and more depressed. And again, not really knowing what had happened at the time. And again, I ended up trying to attempt to take my life. And it was, even now when I look back at where I am now, to even try and understand how I got into that state. But for me, that really at that moment seemed like there was it would be better off that I wasn't here. But very, very luckily, when I did try to attempt to take my life, somebody, I was able to contact my brother again. He wasn't nearby, but he was able to get somebody else that was able to pick me up and take me to hospital. It was there that, very, very luckily, that my mum was able to find out that I had private medical health insurance that got me referred to the Priory Hospital, that got me the right help, where a lot of that help was talking therapies and the time to actually unpick what had happened and try to find the coping mechanisms of how for me to cope. And we talked about mindfulness. At the time that was CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, and that really, really helped me to kind of understand what had happened with my dad, and also kind of the processes that I'd kind of started to problems I'd had myself. And they've really given me the tips and kind of the tools to kind of look after my mental health since. And I've been very lucky that thanks to the Priory, which, my insurance company that paid for that, I'm here, and I feel that if my dad probably got that same treatment, he would be here too. And I think that's quite unjust. And then, I got better. I'm very, very lucky that between 2000 and 2016, I haven't had problems with my mental health. I've learned what CBT, we've talked about meditation, and running has also been really important for me to kind of keep my mental health in check. And I didn't tell anybody. So what I've shared with you Nobody knew that for 16 years. I was very lucky to get a new job. The guy that I worked with at AOL had moved on to another company and said, come and work here, make tea and coffee. If you need to leave, just leave. It doesn't matter. And somebody giving that olive branch back into work allowed me to have the career that I've had today. But I wasn't going to tell anybody that I'd had a mental health problem, because everybody's think I'd be really strange, and especially if I said that I was sectioned and, put into hospital. Why would you ever talk about that? And Jon, who's here, who's one of my best friends, his sister Michelle, who was also a very good friend of mine. And Jon and I were running the London Marathon for Best Beginnings. And I got a phone call in 2016 to say that Michelle had taken her life due to postnatal depression with her second child. When, if you'd asked me how I thought Michelle was, looking at her Facebook feed, I thought everything was fine. 2 kids, plans to get married. But she is really sadly no longer here. And it was just something flipped inside me of how could that happen in 2016, where people aren't getting the help that they need. I'd kind of had the blinkers on, thinking that surely mental health had got better, surely people could get the access to the help that they needed in 2016. And the more that I've talked about mental health, and the more I meet different people, is that I realise that actually it's worse, especially for young people now. And this really horrible statistic, this was kind of mentioned earlier by Lee, that thousands of people are taking their life, and it's the biggest killer in men under the age of 40. And we've got to do something about that. That's a number that we can all have an impact ourselves in this room in helping to reduce. And that's why I realise now the importance for all of us to just start the conversation to talk more about mental health, to understand that by having those conversations will mean that it will help people to actually look to get the right kind of help earlier, before some people feel that it's actually too late, that there is no other option. Heads Together in their first year did a brilliant job about raising kind of the awareness and stigma and conversation. And it's really worth going to Heads Together's website to look at some of the key stats about creating that national conversation around mental health. Obviously, I will never miss an opportunity to show a picture of myself and the medal. For Jon and I, it was almost a year anniversary of Michelle's death. Jon had been doing more training than me, so we followed each other's runs and training on Strava, building up to the marathon. And my big worry was that we said we were going to run the marathon together, and I would be the one slowing Jon down because I hadn't done enough training. But for Jon, what I guess he did underestimated is that he had prepared very well physically for the marathon, but mentally it was a very, very tough run for him. And at around kind of mile 21, Jon, after seeing his family, Jon almost nearly fainted, and we ended up spending an hour in St John's ambulance getting treatment for him. And very luckily, he was fine after getting some more water and some different sugars into him. He decided that we would carry on, and we did finish. We did get our medal. So I guess I really want to leave you with kind of in 2018 what we all can do to improve our own mental health. And just want to leave you with 3 things really, is that just having a conversation with a friend, a colleague, why not go for somebody that we don't even know that well, and just start to have that kind of conversation around, being present, asking people how they are and listening and seeing how they are. connect more with who we are as people, we can really start to understand and unlock some of the fears and worries and concerns that we have. Look after your own mental health. Brian touched on meditation, which was incredible. But find something that you do for yourself, be kind to yourself, and do something that also you feel that has a benefit to your mental health. For me, it's running. If I can go running, it really clears my head. I never want to go running, but once I've actually done it, I know I feel great after it. It really helps clear my head. So find something that really helps you personally with your own mental health, and put yourself first. And then get involved. Talk to your employer about mental health. We really need to have mental health first aiders in every company in the UK. We put so much attention on, health, on the safety part of health and safety, and making sure that we've got fire exits and enough fire extinguishers. We do very little about the actual health of employers in reality. So, putting pressure on organisations to have trained staff that are also mental health first aid is really important. And finally, things like Omar's putting on with these events and massive, finding local charities and social enterprises that are doing groundbreaking stuff with mental health. There's a real bubbling community of people now doing really exciting things around mental health. Get involved with those, and I've yet to meet one person that isn't great that's doing something around mental health. So yeah, the last thing for me is really just get involved, back Omar and what he's doing, and thanks very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Jon, for a very touching, candid conversation and story. Let's talk heads together. There are just a few words, a couple of initiatives, organisations, but just think what is encapsulated in all of that. We've heard through a few stories just exactly some of the things that people can go through, and even in Jon's there was multiple loss, as there is for many other people. And we have such alarming statistics as well, which just multiply that tragedy, that trauma, that grief. So yeah, we've touched on some of the things that we can do. Like Jon said, and like everyone else has said today, it's really important that we can take a lot away with us. I think it's fantastic that all of you have come here today and you've all spoken, you've all expressed your voice as a person who's coming here to support something that's really important to all of us, really. So thank you very much for that, and thank you to Omar, who is now coming up next. Thank you.